As you guys have probably seen, Chapter 5 Season 3 has come out already, and it is one of the most divisive seasons we have had in a very long time. Shockingly, actually, because we've been through Chapter 5 in the lackluster seasons that we've had so far. We're going to be taking a look at what a lot of different creators have been saying on Twitter, what people are applying to it, and there is a lot of drama when it comes to all this. We're going to take a look at all of it. I would love to know what you guys think about it down below afterwards. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels. I want to start off with the tweet. In my opinion, this is the one that I saw in the idea for making this video. Also, thank you to Jojo Josiah for showing me a bunch of tweets over here because there's been a lot of people going on. So Fortnite Copperboard had this to post, and it's just, what is this season? And it's a clip from Clicks, and he's building, of course. I'm not going to show you all of the clips that we're going to take a look at today because all of them are essentially just dying to cars or the Nitro boost or just the Nitro fist. Excuse me, that's what I meant to say. And people are really unhappy about that because they essentially can't just build their way out of it. I still ultimately disagree with that, and we're going to get a little bit more into that, but I want to bring you two over some replies from the Fortnite competitive report. Frostwing Gaming had this to say: do people know that they're supposed to shoot the enemies in the game and that building isn't supposed to be a counter to literally everything? This is something that I will never ever understand about this community. So many people, and it's really reminding me about the mechs back in the day because everybody, instead of actually countering the mechs, because there was a counter and we saw that in chapter 2. Yeah, I understand they were a little bit nerfed, but the same rule applies. You could take a squad, you could just shoot at them, have some communication. Even if you were just playing solos, just shoot at them. We had the boogie bombs, we had the junk rifts. There were ways to counter the mech, and there are ways to counter the cars this time around. Is there a little bit of lack of loot that helps you do that? Yeah, you know what? That's very true. But at the same time, you can get out of the way of the cars. You can use things like rocks, buildings. You can hide behind things. You don't have to be out in the open. And more importantly, you can shoot the people in the cars. It's a little bit more difficult than the mechs, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, just sitting there and boxing up isn't going to do anything. You need to adapt. You need to change. You need to find a way to beat these cars. And there is ways to beat these cars. Honestly, would I like to see a couple more things that would help do so? Like, I would like to see the Anvil rocket launcher unvaulted. I don't know how I feel about EMPs because I think that could get a little bit out of hand, but just a couple things that, maybe even just a rocket launcher in general, something to use where you can explode the car, where you can do a lot of damage to the car, but even at the end of the day, just mod a crossbow. The crossbow does a fantastic job, and I think the crossbow is a great start to it. I don't think that we need to add a lot of things into the game to counter the cars, but I personally think that there should be like maybe one or two more weapons. But even in saying that, look what they did with the mechs. They put the boogie bombs in the game to counter the mechs. And instead of actually using the boogie bombs, which were the best way, by the way, to counter the mechs, it was easy to fight the mechs with your boogie bombs. Nobody tried. They went, I don't want Epic Games to put something like this in the loot pool, and I shouldn't be dying to something like this. I want to box up. It's ridiculous, dude. So even if Epic Games did add weapons to counter everything over here, people wouldn't do it. They would still sit there and cry, and they wouldn't actively try to beat the cars, because that's what you need to do. You just need to try a little bit. Anyways, let's continue on to another post by the username of Medio Surimo. Sorry about that. The fact that Fortnite is the only competitive community that refuses to adapt and insists on whining till devs nerf an otherwise fun addition to the game is incredible. And you know what? It is incredible. It's insane to me that nobody refuses to adapt. Like, how do you even play this game? The game that's forever changing. Why don't you play any game that just stays the same? I will never understand that. You need to adapt. You need to learn the new meta. It's been a few days. It's been a few days, man. There's going to be ways to fight against the cars. There's going to be cover that you find. There's going to be drop spots. If you're thinking about this from a competitive perspective, there's going to be drop spots where you can avoid the cars. There's going to be ways to counter this loophole. I don't understand why everybody just wants everything nerfed. Ninja had a sarcastic tweet that everybody kind of crapped all over him for, and we might take a look at this for another video in general. But anyways, he had this to say: I personally think this is the best season so far. Love the turret and the car gameplay, especially the grenade launcher attachment. I feel as if they both increase the skill gap, allowing for higher skill players to really outshine their opponents with wit and class, but that's just my opinion. Of course, you can see that this tweet is completely sarcastic. I'll give you the translation for it. I died to a car. I didn't do anything about it. I tried to box up and I got ran over. There you go. That's the translation for that tweet. Anyways, there was another tweet that got a lot of traction, and it's a clip that, again, I apologize, I'm not going to show you for the video. New meta looking very balanced and skillful, and it's a clip of somebody using the Nitro boost, and this is a clip that kind of went everywhere. I saw this a lot on Twitter yesterday, and somebody running through a bunch of walls and shooting somebody with a combat shotgun. First of all, if somebody busts through your wall, have a pump shotgun, pump them in the face. A combat shotgun takes a little bit for you to kill, so there is a little bit of a delay in that sense. And the NPC or the other opponent that was there was just standing still. A user by the username of Scuba Vivo had this to say in reply to it. I need no one to whine about this. I'm tired of this cycle of something chaotic and cool being nerfed to the ground instead of making cool strategies against it. Stop hiding in boxes. This makes complete sense. And you know what? Take a look at this new Nitro stuff, by the way. The fact that you can bust through walls like the door, the fact that you get a little bit of a speed boost, that's something cool and unique that's we've never seen in Fortnite before. And then let's say they do end up nerfing this. If they end up nerfing the cars, if they end up nerfing how many walls you can run through, if they end up nerfing the amount of time that you spend in Nitro, everybody is going to come back and say, oh my god, Epic Games never makes anything new anymore. Remember when we got new fun updates back in the day? Like, we've had overpowered stuff in the past. Everybody's always cried about it. And then when Epic Games would nerf it, everybody would be bored with the season. It is insane. And most importantly, like this tweet had to say, stop hiding in boxes. If these cars can go through boxes, if somebody has a cow catcher to go through builds, and something that everybody's not talking about, by the way, is there is a spike attachment that does a lot of damage. You can't go through many builds with that. Can you go through some builds? Yeah, 100% you can. But everybody's acting like every single box that they ever put out will just be absolutely destroyed by a car. So, and I agree with the tweet. I need no one to whine about this. I'm tired of the cycle of something being chaotic and cool being nerfed into the ground instead of making cool strategies against it. It's not hard to make strategies against it. Shoot the driver, shoot the tires, shoot whatever you need to shoot, and get out of the way. It is insane to me. The amount of clips, by the way, that I've seen from people just even having and this is it's funny because we're going to take a look at a tweet later on with that, people having and I don't know what the actual setting is called. I don't use it. The mode that's for deaf people, where you can see a car coming from behind you for so long, but people refuse to move, and then they get run over, and they just complain about the new season. It is insane to me. Let's continue on to another tweet by the user. Okay, I'm not going to repeat that. There is a difference between cool chaotic stuff and an unbalanced meta that makes the game unplayable, and this is where a lot of people seem to be coming from in the competitive community. But that is true. But I would argue with it, to be honest with you, it is more on the side of balance. I just think that people need to adapt. I think people need to figure out ways to fight against the cars. This is reminding me a lot about the mechs in Season X. People just threatening to quit the game instead of trying a little bit harder. I will say this, though. I have always said on this channel, and I still do believe to this day, that casual and competitive communities should be completely split. I think that the competitive community should have a little bit of a shake-up in the loophole, but at the end of the day, I don't think that the cars or the crazy attachments, the grenade launchers, should be something that isn't competitive. I think that they should have their, and I use this with like meaning no disrespect in saying that I believe they should have their boring loophole, because that's what a lot of the competitive community wants. Have their build fights, have their pump shotguns, have their, I don't even know if they want snipers, but have their shockwave grenades, have their nice basic loot pool, and just do whatever you want with pubs. Have the cars even more overpowered. I think that's a healthy fix personally. I don't understand why Epic Games doesn't dive into that, because, and I wish I had the tweet for you, but I don't. PBJ was talking with Clark on Twitter, and what they were talking about was like whether or not it's a good idea to separate casuals and competitive, and PBJ said that he wasn't too sure if it's a good idea to separate the communities, but I'm over here saying like the communities have been separate for a very, very long time. They're already separate. I don't see an issue with it. Let's take a look at another tweet by the username of IIPUPU. Unplayable equals I can't make a box. Entirely true. Entirely true. Everybody just says the game is literally unplayable. You remember that meme back in the day? Let's keep going to Baby Walk. This is the worst update in Fortnite history. I'll be quitting Fortnite this season. I love you who have supported me in my Fortnite content, but I can't play this on stream. It's just ruining my vibe and content. Now, I don't know anything about Baby Walk. I don't know who Baby Walk is, but judging by history, they are just posting this either for attention, or they want everybody to complain on Twitter, or they want Epic Games to nerf something. But in reality, they'll probably be back in a couple days. That is my guess, but again, I don't know this person. I actually received a comment a little while ago on one of my videos, and I wish I could tell you exactly what it was, but it was something to the extent, and I always say this, and I've said this multiple times on the channel, I don't understand why everybody, and streamers are a little bit of an exception because they make content, but there's so many replies where it's like, well, I'm quitting Fortnite this season. It has been very, very fun, everybody, but I actually can't just take it anymore. I don't understand why everybody has to make this big deal about quitting a game, and I don't understand why you can't just leave a game and not play it for a little bit and come back. Why do you have to actually straight up quit the game? It doesn't make sense to me. And somebody in the comment section, again, I wish I could find it for you, they said something to the extent of, I don't understand why people say this either. Like, it's not an airport. You don't need to announce your departure. I always find that pretty funny, to be honest with you. But anyways, another username by Yok6 had this to say, this might be the worst Fortnite season to date, and it's just somebody in a box getting killed by some Nitro fists. Shocker. How about this? When somebody with fists comes into your box, you shoot them in the face. It's not that difficult. It really, really isn't. You have to get used to the speed of it, but that will take no time at all. Let's continue on. How about you try shooting the enemy instead of spamming builds? And Yoxic actually replied to that and said, are you slow? This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the attitude of people that I do not understand. Sword had something like, it was very rational. How about you tried shooting the enemy? Instead, you just built. That's what I said even before looking at this. And I know I gathered the tweets before this, but I forgot about it. And instead of saying, oh yeah, maybe next time I will try to shoot somebody, you just come back and say, are you slow? Like, it's not even an option to these people. It's not even an option to try. And it's just like, oh, somebody came in my box with Nitro fists. Like, insane to me. Insane to me. Spam building isn't the way to do it. You need to shoot people. Let's keep going. Y'all just bad at the game. Can't counter simple things. And this is an attitude. And you know what? It's so nice to see people like this on Twitter finally really replying to this, because people are enjoying the season and the community is really, really showing it. I love to see it. I love to see it. So another user in this clip I've seen a lot floating around. W season, having fun. And it's somebody walking around and you can see, and it's that deaf person setting again. You can see it and the car has been coming, and the car was coming for like 10 seconds or something. And then they got ran over. Instead of turning around, instead of shooting, instead of building to get out of the way, instead of getting in that car, like, it's crazy to me. And this is where I'm very excited, because JoJo was cooking people on Twitter, okay? I have a couple tweets that I want to take a look at from JoJo. One that I found very, very funny myself. We're going to take a look at JoJo's tweet in just a second, but I do want to pause the video really quick, guys, because I do want to just really quick, again, if you don't want to hear me out, just skip like 30 seconds. As you guys know, I just started a family, and throughout this entire year, I have been looking to make enough money on my YouTube channel so my wife, once this year is up, doesn't have to go back to work. I've been loving having her at home. I've been loving her just be an amazing mother to my daughter and the dog. It's been great having her home. So again, like I said, I've been trying to make enough money throughout this year while she's off that she won't have to go back to work. I want to be the one that works. I want to provide for her. So if you haven't considered using anybody's code in the Fortnite item shop, please consider using code Clen in the item shop. This is what it is all for. I promise you that. And again, we've seen a little bit of a boost since I've been talking about this, and I can't thank you guys enough from the bottom of my heart. This is what it's all for. So if you do not have a code that you use in the item shop, please consider using code Clen. Either way, just make sure you do use a code. It helps people so much more than you would think. Let's continue on to the tweet by Jojo Josiah. He quoted the tweet where the one that we took a look at, W season having fun. Jojo had this to say: bro, you have an accessibility feature on that is for deaf people. That shows exactly where the car is. Unfortunately, not even Fortnite can make this game accessible for you. I'm not going to repeat that on YouTube. But this is so true. You could have seen the car coming from so far away, but instead, he clipped this and posted it on Twitter. People are insane, man, but JoJo continues on, which I'm very excited for, okay? Before we get into JoJo, another person had this to say: I love seeing competitive players lose their shit because they can't adapt to a new meta. I don't necessarily love seeing it. I get more so like a little bit annoyed at the fact that a game that I love so much has the potential to be completely ruined with Epic Games nerfing things into the ground because people refuse to adapt to a new meta. JoJo replied to that. This is the best tweet we've seen, in my opinion. I'm starting to think they have a degradation kink. Like, why are you posting something so embarrassing? Accessibility features on and you still be getting shit on. They have a degradation kink. That's actually that's a pretty good reply. And you know what? We're not going to take a look at a tweet, but something else that I loved about JoJo, and I made it into a short. I doubt it's out right now, but what's hilarious is he was really talking about, and I talk about this a lot in my videos, to be honest with you, and this is why I really, really like JoJo, because we have the same attitude towards a lot of things, where I have come to the point in my life where I don't even think it's any gaming community. I don't think it's like for the games that I'm a part of. I don't think it's a League of Legends community. I don't think it's a Fortnite community. I don't think it's a Smash Bros community. I don't think it's a community of any game. I think it's just people being miserable in general. And JoJo, and of course I'm paraphrasing, in the last stream that we did, JoJo was like, the only people not liking the season is people who have their wife left them, if their dad hates them, if somebody in their family walked out about them, and then he said, or they're just 5'4". The point being that people who are just mad at life refuse to have fun and hate to see other people have fun. I understand that the season may not be for everybody. I completely understand that, okay? But this is so true for the people that are consistently never happy with a season or never happy with any game. Again, you may be an exception, but it's so true, man. It is so true. People are radiating the problems with their life onto a video game. Let's continue on to another tweet by JoJo. One of the most chaotic seasons and some of the most fun I've ever had. Makes me sad that we're finally getting a massive shakeup to the gameplay and people are out here wanting to get it taken out. Y'all want us to go back to a watered down, same old bullshit season. And it's so true. Everybody was complaining about the entirety of Chapter 5 just being boring. Everybody was complaining about it. Now we have a shakeup. Now we have something that actually makes us feel like old Fortnite and people want it taken out. It's crazy to me. It is absolutely insane. I want to take a look at another reply by Straw Desert. My thoughts, highly underrated, but I'm loving every aspect. The chaotic nature is what always felt Battle Royale should be. The gameplay is more engaging now than it has been in this whole chapter so far. I agree, especially with that last part. And it's very interesting where he had this to say again. The chaotic nature is what I've always felt Battle Royale should be. I actually agree with this. When I think about OG Fortnite, I remember chaotic gameplay. I remember people hopping on hop rocks. I remember dropping down in Dusty Divot with all of the hop rocks. And in an open area, by the way, like this brand new season. Everybody hopping around. Everybody spamming rocket launchers. Everybody constantly shooting each other. Third parties like crazy. The chaos in Fortnite was what made Fortnite in my opinion. So honestly, I gotta say, the chaotic nature is what I've always felt Battle Royale should be. I completely agree with that, but I will say, and it's important to note that I still do ultimately believe that casual and competitive should be separate. I don't think that the competitive community should be forced to enjoy the season. I just also really hate when they just constantly campaign for everything to get nerfed instead of adapting to it. There are so many clips online where people could have done something, but instead, and this is why people got the mechs nerfed in Season X, it's the same thing. Instead of actively countering it, instead of looking for a way to change up your gameplay, to adapt to a new meta, you sit down, cry, complain, and threaten to quit Fortnite if nothing's changed. Newsflash, that's not how the world works. So the vast majority of the community is enjoying the season. Just because you aren't, just because you refuse to adapt to a new meta, to refuse to just do anything but build in a box, refuse to hear a car coming, refuse to turn around when a car is running you over, it's your problem, man. It is absolutely your problem. But again, you don't have to like the season. I just hate that everybody's campaigning for everything to get nerfed. It's ridiculous to me. But guys, let me know what you think about all of this down below. And if you want to continue watching some more Twitter drama, I want you to take a look at this video that we took a look at from Lachlan a long time ago, because people, the internet, were pretty upset at him for a little bit. And it's something that kind of came out from the past. Let me know what you think about it down below. Thank you very much for watching, everybody.